You're listening to Crazy Shit in Real Estate. You'll be amazed at all these wild but true situations that others have found themselves in. Because on this show, you'll hear uncensored, unbelievable stories from the world of real estate. I'm Leigh Brown. Let's dive right in. Before you get the rest of the story, I'd love to share a quick message from today's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Follow Up Boss, one of the leading CRMs, client relationship managers for residential real estate. Tons of top producing agents and some of the fastest growing teams out there are using Follow Up Boss to increase lead conversion, eliminate busy work that you're not doing anyway, and frankly, deliver a higher class experience in real estate to everybody who chooses you as their realtor of choice. So if you're going to keep listening to this, which I know you will, there's more information and a personal review of Follow Up Boss. For more information, go to followupboss.com/crazy. Well, hello, friends. I'm Leigh Brown. This is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. And today I'm all excited because I have a North Carolina person on. Yay! I have Javier Hinojo. He and his wife are experienced realtors and investors in the Raleigh, North Carolina market. He's got like 1,000 little rabbit trails for you in the next several minutes. So get your notepad and pen. Make sure you check out the show notes for all the links that you're going to miss along the way. And I'll see you on the other side. So tell our audience a little bit about you and how long you've been in real estate, what you do around real estate. Just give us insights on Javier.
Awesome. Yeah. So my wife's a broker here in North Carolina, and I was her assistant for a while. And we flipped a whole bunch of houses. Yeah, for a while. And we flipped a lot of houses. We've been in real estate 6 years, actually. It'll be 6 years next month. And for the first 4 years, we flipped a whole bunch of houses. We flip about 50 a year at some point, at our peak. So we were pretty busy. And about 2 years ago, we decided to flip houses anymore and buy some apartment buildings. So we started buying apartment buildings. I'm not her assistant anymore, and she still does real estate, and she only picks and chooses her clients. So we buy apartment buildings. I did a 10 millionaire challenge where I got 19 teams to come to my office here in Raleigh, and I taught them how to underwrite, how to make offers, multifamily, and then they all went back to their hometown, and we're all working together trying to buy some apartment buildings together, which is pretty cool. My daughter, she's 16. She's part of that. So this is the show about crazy shit in real estate. So one of the craziest things that happened to me was on my first flip. I actually sold it to an adult film actress in North Carolina. So that's a fun fact.
All right. So we'll come back to that story. Let's dig into your background a little bit first, because what you're doing is what a lot of people in real estate dream of, which is starting in the one pathway of being a practicing realtor and then moving into bigger things, not just for clients, but for yourselves.
For sure.
Because let's just be honest, a lot of realtors and real estate teams and people in the business never get started in investing. They get themselves where they can do things for clients, and then the fear takes over their own purchases, their own portfolio. So I'm curious, when you and your wife made that decision in flipping to do some of that business, of course, she's still getting signs in yards, right? She's still selling other people's property at the time?
Yes.
So when you get started in flipping, how did you overcome the fear of the first flip and not really knowing what you're getting into? Because we all know that the first time you do something, you think you know it, and you don't know it until you're halfway in the middle of it.
Well, probably the biggest thing is people say, you got to have all this money in the bank. You got to have all this money. And then you start asking questions, right? You talk to these flippers and they're flipping, you're like, and you see them flipping properties and they're like cutting corners. Like, man, how do you make money? You're not actually that smart. And I mean, I'm just being honest. And then you start asking questions like, hey, so how'd you get money? Oh, no, I just go to this real estate event and there's private lenders. They give you money. I'm like, what? Like, okay, crazy. Just friends and family. So probably the biggest thing is that fear of like, hey, I feel like I need to have a lot of money to either start buying your own rentals or start flipping properties, when ideally you really don't. You're doing all this work for your clients, which is fine, right? That's your business. But at the same time, you can go ahead and take some time and pick a couple of these for yourself. And you can partner up with somebody if you're really scared to do your first one. I would partner up deal by deal basis, not right off the bat, because it can get a little bit choppy. That's one of the biggest things in real estate. When you partner up, it can get messy. But just partner up on a deal by deal basis if you want to get started and you're a little nervous. But look, I always say the closer you get to never doing a deal, the longer it takes you to never do a deal, the closer you get to never doing one for your own.
So I love that concept of partnering property by property, because it's kind of like dating. You don't really know each other at the beginning, but you do at the end. And that's where you could then make a decision. We want to continue doing this, or maybe we just part ways. And everybody's got a different risk reward ratio. They've got different ways they approach the business. They've got different timelines and expectations. So as you have gotten through the process and y'all have done a lot of the different investments over time, when you're evaluating a partnership, what are you looking for? Are you asking them for their financials? Do you eat supper with them and see how they react to scenarios? What's the guideline you would share with our audience?
All right. So I got a partner. He's in Houston. He's Chinese and his name's Moo, like a cow, but he spelled like M-U. And the first time he wanted to see if I want to be a partner. He tried to get me drunk because I guess that's his culture. And like, I don't drink that much. He just kept giving me drinks to see how I would react. And I just really chill. I was ready to go to bed. I'm like, hey, I'm getting tired. I want to go to bed now. So that was the way he tested me, right? But ideally, you want to find somebody that complements, right? If you're not great at sales, you want to find somebody who's really good at sales. You got to complement each other. You guys can't be kind of the same and have the same flaws. But one of the biggest things for me that has really worked is every 90 days, I've been married also almost 24 years. I know I don't look like it. I got married when I was 8. But you have to, like, every 90 days, reevaluate, right? So say you and I go in a partnership. It's a new business. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in 90 days. Hey, let's go 50-50. And then later on, I figure out that you're doing more work. You're putting more money. So why am I getting 50%? So if we don't talk about that, like say, hey, let's do this first deal this way, 50-50. After this first deal, let's reanalyze. Let's see how we can fix it. Maybe we got to adjust it a little bit, right? And if it doesn't work out, then we split our different way. We go our different ways, or we adjust it, right? Like maybe my responsibility, your responsibility, and who keeps what. And you got to keep, it's a constant communication. It's just like it's like marriage. You got to communicate.
Right. It's work all the time, and the blush is going to come off the rose. And so you better be able to have hard conversations, because that's what it looks like when you thought it was 50-50 and it wound up 70-30. That's a hard conversation to have. But if you're going to protect your business and your family and your finances, you've got to be willing to have hard conversations.
Yep, you do, for sure.
So when you moved away from flipping and towards apartments, what were your best educational resources? Did you go find an investors association? Did you find a mentor? Were there books or podcasts? What were y'all leaning on for a resource?
Yeah, so I was at a mastermind. So for me, the biggest things that changed my life has been masterminds, right? I believe in coaching and I believe in masterminds. People ask me all the time, how did you do it? What do you do? How you did? Or whatever you did, how do you do it so quickly? And I say, first of all, I have to believe I can do it, right? Number 2, I had a network with people that I want to be around with that are going to help me get there. And number 3, I got to take action. I'm like, it's that simple. There's really nothing, there's a lot of details, but if you get those 3 topics down or just big points, you'll do it. So that's what I did right away. Okay, I had to believe, I had to see myself buying an apartment building. And then I had to, like you said, hey, where do I go, right? Okay, I got to go join. Maybe I go to these multifamily conferences. I'll join a multifamily meetup or a mastermind or a coaching program, right? And then you're around the people they're going to get you where you're going to get. Like, that's the way it works. I mean, it's just not that hard.
Well, the hard part is what you said at first, that you have to believe you can do it, because I will say that I'm pretty sure many of our audience, I'm not calling your names out, but you're not going to multifamily conferences because you don't know multifamily. So you feel like it's out of your league, or you feel like you don't know enough to go. But until you decide to swim in it, you're probably never going to learn. It's kind of like residential real estate. If you're a part-time agent, I commend you for trying, but it's not going to be the same outcome as when you're full-time. And in fact, when you had to quit the full-time salary job and the benefits to go all into real estate, where you're forced to swim to survive. Same thing happens in multifamily. If you just go dive in, you'd actually find, and I know, Javier, you'd back me up on this, you go to these events, there are more people willing to pour into somebody that's new than you would ever imagine. They'll tell you so much, you can't even absorb it all. They're not down there to make you feel small. They're there to lift you up. I think it's a different kind of real estate environment than we tend to see in the typical residential sales environment. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, 100%. And you can come in with the mindset of, hey, I'm gonna be a sponge, or like, hey, what can I do for you? Like, I'll do whatever, right? Like, give me a shovel and I'll shovel manure. Just call it, say it nicely.
My
I'll do whatever it
show's called
takes.
crazy shit in real estate. So you can say shovel
Okay.
shit,
Yeah.
but if it's white with
Give me a
nothing,
shovel and a shovel
I'll say it
shit.
for you.
Whatever I got to do, right? Don't matter if you're making 250K at your corporate job. Doesn't matter, right? Because at that point, you want to learn and you want to get around people and you want to bring some value, right? So whatever you got to do. And that's what I did in my first apartment. Found a friend of mine, I believe, in a network, and I took action. A friend that I knew that was buying an apartment building in South Carolina. I said, what can I do? And I said, like, I was flipping 50 houses a year. I was making pretty good money. And I'm like, man, I'll shovel shit, whatever. I don't care. I just want to learn the process to see if I want to do this or not. Like you said earlier, every investor has, I call it an investor personality. Your time and energy, you want to be passive, you want to be active. What are your returns like? Everybody has a personality and you got to make sure what you're doing fits your personality.
Okay. So I told y'all that I would do a review of Follow Up Boss, because I'm your friend in real estate. And I did. Now, there's a blue million CRM out there. I mean, if you go to any Facebook group, every realtor's like, which one should I use? Which one should I use? And you know that these CRM, which are client relationship managers or customer relationship manager, whatever you want to call it, it's truly a system that's just designed to help you know what to do next because you're very busy and you're a multitasker in real estate. And with all those different tasks and balls up in the air, you need something to help you stay on track. And that's what Follow Up Boss does. Now, when you save a name and a phone number in there, that is basically a Rolodex. Follow Up Boss is going to take the names and phone numbers and also help you know what to do next. So you can maintain these relationships with your neighbors because that's what this is about. Real estate is not about serving just prospects and clients. It's about taking great care of your neighbors' needs in real estate. And if you'll use a tool like Follow Up Boss, where they remember you, they might even call you when they're ready to buy or sell again, or when their mom and daddy do, or their best friend or their kid, and you want to be top of mind, that's what a product like Follow Up Boss will do for you. Truly, it's going to change your business when you start paying better attention to people. They don't have to know you use Follow Up Boss, but they'll totally understand that they are being heard by you. So now there's a free trial for my people because you're loved. Go to followupboss.com/crazy. No credit card is required. And frankly, because you're my people and we made an ask for you, Follow Up Boss said, yes, you get double the free trial. That's actually enough time to log in, put some pieces in it, and watch it change your business as it has for so many realtors and teams nationwide. Again, go to followupboss.com/crazy to start your free trial today. That is a great way to put it because we tend to talk about the investor profile more, but investor personality is a way better way to remember it. So I'm going to steal that from you. It's fantastic information. All right. So when you went to buy your first apartment complex, where did you find the opportunity and how did you approach it when you're moving from one space to the other? Again, the first one is the tricky one.
Yeah. So again, right, a network. So I tell you for everybody, if I want to have a taco truck, I go hang out with guys or girls or ladies that own taco trucks. I guarantee you in the next 6 months, I'll own some taco trucks just because I'm hanging out with those kind of people. So first I believed that I could do it. And then I networked, went to some conferences, some meetups. I connected with some folks. And then I found out like a week later, 2 weeks later, they had one under contract. And I'm like, hey, what can I do to bring value? Can I help you with construction, due diligence? You need escrow deposit, become a general partner. I can help raise some money. You just can't only raise money. You got to do a couple other different things. So I said, okay, I'll help you raise some money. That's one of my things to do. And I promised to raise $1.3 million and I overpromised and underdelivered. I got punched in the face, like, bam, like, oh, what? It was pretty tough for me. I was flipping 16 houses, or I had 16 houses at a time, $3 or $4 million from private investors. So for me, I thought it'd be easy. And it wasn't easy, actually. I got punched in the face. And,
well, it was a different pathway, right?
Yes,
so you were talking to money over here about money over here. And
exactly.
Not all money goes across the spectrum.
Exactly.
And that's definitely something to consider, friends, when you're putting together your investor personality is which lane do you want to be in? Because when we talk about investment real estate, frankly, there's flips. Those are short term. There's buy and hold. Those are long terms. And then you got single family and condos. And then you've got duplexes, triplexes, and quads. And then you've got apartment complexes. And is it 8 units or 300 units? And is it strip malls? There's so many directions you can go in, which is why if you're really smart, you'll listen to what Javier said. Go listen to some people and drink it up for a few months because you may find out that you should be investing in mobile home parks. Those are affectionately called ATM in the business because they are definitely cash flow heavy if you understand them, but you want to learn about it from people who know that business. And that's not the same people who rent space to doctors.
Exactly. And an easy way to start really is ask somebody what you can do for them, right? If you got some money, or even if you don't have money, if you can be boots on the ground, there's a lot of different ways to do it. It's a lot of ways. Time, you can use some of your time or some of your money or some of your connections. And even if you don't get a big piece of the first project, it's okay, right? Don't be greedy. Just learn the process. You're like, okay, great. Now I can do this on my own. That's what I did. In the first one, I learned the process. And after that, then that was a 63 unit. And fast forward less than 2 years, we're at 690 units, right? So.
And can we just teach the whole younger generation that you don't have to make all the money at the beginning because you haven't earned it yet? There is so much honor in absorbing information and learning the process so that you can profit later. And I feel like everybody's all about immediate gratification right now. But what you're describing is delayed gratification, but it took your learning curve like this because you were slow and steady about it. You exploded instead of trying to be here out of the gates and then crash and burn, which we see people crash and burn all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they're broke.
Yep. So you got to connect with folks, operators who are experienced and just kind of learn the ropes and then kind of take what you like and make it your system. And, you know, a lot of realtors out there, I think you guys sit on a gold mine all the time. I used to have realtors send me these deals. I'm like, downtown Raleigh, like, hey, I have a client. He wants to sell off market for $60K for this house. I'm like, downtown, it's worth like 180. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to buy that. I'm thinking to myself, why isn't she not buying it? Like, oh my God.
Their brain's over here and the brain's not opening up its scope to go over here. And you're right. The gold mine though, y'all, is the people in here. It's the people saved in your phone. That's your gold mine. And you can't be afraid of having a conversation. And maybe that agent, if they were smart, they would have said, Javier, I got this opportunity over here. Can I give it to you and shadow you in the process and learn from you? And you might not get paid as much as you're going to learn, but there is a definitely return on brain that can come out of this, not just a return on investment.
Yeah, for sure. Right. A return on knowledge. And bring a project and be like, hey, how can I partner? How can I learn the process? How can I be a fly in the wall and see how you do it? Yeah.
That's how I learned commercial real estate. I asked a commercial agent to write an offer for me and said, can I please shadow you? I don't need any money. I just need to learn. She said yes, because I wasn't going to get in her way. So you also have to be a good mentee that is quietly learning and not trying to know everything, because some people are know-it-alls and have a hard time taking it back a notch, but I know y'all can. So now we got to hear about this adult film star, porn star, because I know they're all thinking, all right, we're done with the investment talk, Leigh. Let Javier talk. So tell us about the porn star.
All right. So my very first flip, we bought it and I met the lady, the owner and her husband. I'm like, she was really, really pretty. And husband was not very pretty or good looking. I'm like, he must be a really nice guy. And he definitely doesn't have money because it was in a very expensive house. But anyway, so long story short, when I read the contract, it said a refrigerator conveys, right? So I didn't know, like it didn't hit me. I was in the military, so convoy means get the hell out of there, right? Like leave. So I go and I grab the fridge, I take it with me. Like, hey, sure enough, that afternoon I get a call from the agent, like, hey, where's the fridge? I'm like, well, convoy to my garage, you know? Took it to my garage. Like, no, you need to bring it back. So anyways, I took it back with my 20-year-old, who was 19 back then. We took it back, put it in there, and she was talking to somebody about replacing the carpet. She didn't like the carpet color. And when she was done with that, she gets a cigarette, starts smoking. They're in the kitchen. And she's like, hey, he wants to charge me $5,000 to change the carpet. That's a lot. I go, yeah, that's a high cost, high fee. And then she says, that's a lot of bleep I have to suck. She said that right in front of me. I'm like,
in front of your kid? Oh, gross.
Yeah, and my 19-year-old, he's from Belarus. He speaks fluent Russian and his English is okay. Like he's got pretty good English. So he was behind her and he like stops and like does a double take. Like, did I just hear that? Like, cause his English is not the best. Anyways, so we started a conversation. I found out what she did. And my son's like, can we take a selfie, Dad? Like, heck no, my mom will kill us. Hell, we can't take no selfie. We're not taking no selfie here. Like, we're leaving. Anyway, so that was my story of selling my first house to a porn star.
Look, you got to remind him too, this whole facial recognition software, you think it's a cute picture, but somebody somewhere is going to start connecting the dots.
Yep.
And the internet is forever. So Javier, if somebody wants to connect with you and your wife, learn about your masterminds and the syndicates that you're building, how can they reach you?
Yeah, it's just my website, javierhinojo.com. That's the best way. Find me on Instagram, Javier Hinojo. I'm a junior, or Facebook, just connect. I have a lot of links. I got videos on how to underwrite a property. I have a due diligence template that you can download. That's what we do, our due diligence for an apartment building. It's a lot of steps. I give that for free. We got calculators. We got a whole bunch of stuff that I like to give away. So people can not get nervous. What happens is you find this project, like, is this a good deal? How do I know? Like, how do I know if it's a good deal? Well, if you already have a video calculator, you can work on it on your own, and you can figure out if it's a good deal.
Which is why you guys are here on this episode. And because you're not sure how to spell his name, don't worry. Everything's in the show notes for this episode. You can click to connect on his social profiles and also go to his website and reach out to him and his bride for any information on Raleigh and get yourselves a little more educated. Go learn some more things. Javier, I appreciate you coming on the show and giving us some very different insights there, including some inspiration on getting better in life.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys, make sure you go to the show notes and follow up with Javier, follow up with me with 5 stars, and subscribe for more. Leave a nice comment, too, and tell Javier what you enjoyed learning about in this episode. Most importantly, come back and we'll see you next time. Okay, now, don't forget to go try Follow Up Boss so that your business can continue to expand in professionalism, and then you can meet some more crazy people yourself. I really appreciate Follow Up Boss sponsoring this episode, but mainly I appreciate them for giving y'all double the free trial time with no credit card required. So make sure you go to followupboss.com/crazy and then let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time. As always, I'm so super thrilled that you joined in for more crazy shit. And if you're a realtor, investor, inspector, lender, or just a regular human being who happens to have an unbelievable story that you need to tell the world about, or frankly, you just need to one-up the story you just heard, then make sure to DM me on Instagram at Leigh Thomas Brown, or tweet me at Leigh Brown, or frankly, any social network where you hang out. I'm there. And if you had some fun, then you totally want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.